Good evening, everyone. To begin the 94th AGM of National Council of Jewish Women of Australia, Victoria, I'd like to start by respectfully acknowledging the Boon Wurrung people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional owners of the land known as Glenara, where our office is located, and pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and to anyone who may be here tonight. in so doing, I acknowledge the ongoing connection of the traditional owners to this land. My name is Helen Lewin, and I'm the President of National Council Victoria. Now, before I commence official proceedings tonight, I want to take a few minutes to pay our heartfelt condolences to Debbie Strauch, Honorary Life Member, immediate past President, and still actively contributing on the Development Committee, who tragically lost her husband, Leon Strauch, 2 days ago when he suddenly passed away. Leon was a true gentleman, a member and a strong supporter of National Council Victoria. He always accompanied Debbie to attend all our functions and events. He will be greatly missed, and we extend our deepest sympathies to Debbie and all the family. We wish you all a long life. Now I want to welcome all our guests. I was so hoping to see you all here this year, and I was planning to have this event in our new premises. However, as we are all living in a new normal and getting used to online events, probably too used to online events, we're once again delivering our 2021 AGM by Zoom to accord with the restrictions currently in place, and most of all, to play it safe. I'm now going to run through the protocols, which are different to the ones we had last year. The change is we are not using a voting tool this year. We've in fact designed this AGM around receiving pre-votes, and we have received a sufficient number of votes by ballot from our members prior to this meeting. However, if anyone in attendance tonight who has not voted before by ballot, you are able still to cast a vote by doing so through the Q&A box. Only financial members are eligible to vote on resolutions. So the chat box is not enabled. Everything is via the Q&A box. Any question, any comment in the Q&A box. This meeting is a webinar, meaning you may participate in the business of the meeting by asking questions, which again, you'll only be able to do through the Q&A box. The Q&A box is being managed by Sharon Milner, a member of our governance committee, and she will monitor it. So if the same question is asked twice, she will summarise it and say it's from more than one person. The register of attendees for purposes of the minutes will be taken from those people who have logged on tonight. And Secretary Sally Davis has advised that we have the requisite number of members present. There were apologies received prior to this meeting. We have a note of those, and in case anybody has got any apologies to lodge on anybody else, they'll be advised to me in due course. Once again, I'm terribly sad that I can't see you all, nor can I acknowledge or welcome individually any of our VIPs that are here, including our honorary life members, past presidents, national board members, our Circle of Women members, our members and associate members, supporters, friends and guests. I welcome you all and say protocols are now observed. I now call on Sally Davis for confirmation of the 2020 AGM minutes.
Thanks, Helly, and good evening, everyone. You will have all received a copy of the minutes of the annual general meeting of the association that was sent to you with the AGM registration and again last week with the AGM papers. If you have any changes, comments or questions, please put them in the Q&A box. Any questions or comments? As there are no further questions or comments, I move that the meeting accepts the minutes of the last AGM as a true and accurate record of the minutes of that meeting. Judy Hacker has agreed to second the motion, and as we have already received sufficient votes by ballot to move this motion, the vote has been carried. I will now pass back to Helen Lewin, our President.
Thank you, Sally. It is now time for my report, where I report on the activities of the Association for the past year. As this has been a year of innovation, and throughout this year we have availed ourselves of all the technologies available to improve our offerings, whether it's through one of our programs or any of our events. I want to now introduce yet another technological offering that's been created by one of our staff, principally Sivan Presma, who has been outstanding in creating the Year in Review, which we will now show you what we have actually done to empower, advance, promote, and support women at key points through their life cycle. Pictures sometimes speak louder than words.
Caring Mums is the most amazing and unique program that helps provide a little bit of that much needed village that all mums need as they transition into their role of motherhood.
I think during coronavirus everyone had their own battles. I think everyone was a little bit lonely, but having a newborn and not knowing how to care for my newborn without maternal health care visits coming over, without my mother's groups, without seeing other babies to compare what your baby's doing compared to others. Like I had nothing.
When we think about each woman that we're helping has an infant, and then many of them will have older children as well, we believe that what we do in supporting this woman has a flow-on effect to all members of the family.
This year we've had creative, inspiring women. We've had women who have taught them mindfulness, especially during a time of COVID, and given them tools of how do we navigate these chaotic times and tools to put into their kit to cope during this year, but furthermore for the years to come. Women who have quite inspiring Jewish backgrounds and have found that their Jewish background has been an inspiration to the woman that they are today and their career. It's definitely been a significant marker for them, and that's the real connection for the girls and what we try and bring to them.
National Council of Jewish Women Victoria, in partnership with Jewish Care, for the past 20 years running this wonderful program that supports Russian-speaking Jewish migrants from the former Soviet Union.
It's really important to keep it in perspective, and That's why I always say, fit your own oxygen mask first. And whatever the age of the kids, they'll take cues from parents. If parents are feeling anxious, kids will feel anxious. If parents feel relaxed about it, kids will generally feel relaxed about it as well. So I think that's the main message, to normalise all of this. Be honest with children. Try not to overreact. And that doesn't necessarily stop Jewish parents from worrying about their kids. You know, we all do.
It's our duty.
I'm really excited about the new developments at National Council, especially the advocacy group, because they've started this Make Space for Her campaign and the Gender Equity campaign. We're building a database for organisations so that they can resource women to help them on their boards, to help them in their events, and we are trying to hold organisations accountable by getting them to pledge for gender equity and gender equality, and then following them up to ensure that they actually execute what they've pledged to do.
We say in Africa, it takes a village to bring up a child. It certainly takes a village to institutionalize the norms that appreciate investments in girls. We work a lot in communities with mothers because of the role that they play.
In your view, what is feminism?
It's seeing the value in who you are. I mean, we always have to be like the men. Why do I have to be like him? You know, I'm amazing as I am. So, you know, accept who I am and what I have to bring as being good.
Firstly, you can't have it all. Every minute you're at work, you're not with your kids, and every minute you're with your kids, you're not at work. I've really probably had 3.5 to 4 years that I was, you know, in a static hold. And I use that term purposely because anyone who does Pilates knows when you're in a static hold, you might not be moving anywhere, but you're still working really hard and digging really deep. But doesn't mean that my work won't become my priority in years to come when my kids are older. And, you know, I've still got 20 years potentially left in me to work. So if a lifelong dream is to always become a partner at a law firm, does it really matter if you do it at 30 or if you do it at 45? You can achieve your goal in your own time.
We offer a wonderful program called Connect, the seniors who would like to go out and meet people, spend some time with people and get offered a nourishing meal.
How is it to be back?
Wonderful.
Amazing, amazing.
You can count on us to be here, as we have always been, supporting women throughout their life cycle, providing high-quality programs, Caring Mums, the JAM Project, and Connect, promoting gender equality, and being a strong voice for Jewish women and girls, and empowering them.
Okay. Many thanks go to all our staff and volunteers who, as you can see, together have worked incredibly hard to ensure we continue to provide an expanded range of quality programs and activities. It is here that I want to specifically thank our program managers, Michelle Kornberg and Robin Davis for Caring Mums, Liat Azule for the JAM project, and assisting them at the newbie, Pam Buchanan, who's recently joined, Nellie Kuroshawa for Golden Age Club, and Helen Nathan for seniors, all of whom work together with our amazing volunteers, about 150 of them, and who have never missed a beat nor a session in the past year to deliver any part of any of their programs. In the face of the pandemic and all the restrictions that have been imposed over the past year, our staff have deftly switched to the mode of program delivery using technology where it was needed to be learned. They taught the participants. We moved our services online, providing virtual groups for caring mums and their extended reach service. Our JAM participants knew how to FaceTime and group meet and watch the webinars and interviews. Our seniors took to the streets with Nordic walking groups and also learnt the benefits of Zoom and even telephone conferencing. When technology couldn't make it happen, our volunteers packed and delivered packages to our isolated seniors for Pesach and New Year. And our events. You watched the video. Our annual report this year details our impact by numbers. Look at pages 10 and 12 of it. And that's just the programs and events. There's still more to come. Our building project. After 4 to 5 years of dedicated hard work delivered by the building committee, the co-ownership agreement and contracts for sale of land were formally exchanged on the 17th of February this year. This commenced the joint venture agreement between ourselves and the Theodore Herzl Social Club to refurbish the site at 222 Balaclava Road, Caulfield, in return for proportional ownership. Our building expert, Russell Casper, who joined the building committee recently on the retirement of Bruce Josky late last year, he joined just at the right time. This is the commencement now of our design phase. Patience and determination have been demonstrated all throughout this project. When the pandemic took hold and through the various lockdowns and restrictions, we learned quickly that the way people work now is likely to change. This caused us to seriously reassess our entire project. We once again consulted Scott Keck from Charter Keck Kramer Valuers and undertook a re-evaluation of the property values. We also reassessed the risks associated with the planned project. This work was undertaken by our very own Justin Greenstein. And the conclusion is that this project is more financially viable than originally thought. Currently, we're working with our architects and town planners to produce a concept design that satisfies both ourselves and our partner. This will enable us to both visualise and properly cost this exciting project. We look forward to being able to share our concept plans with our supporters and members very soon. And we want to acknowledge the generous donations that have been provided for this project by Eva and Mark Beason, the Victor Smorgan Group, and Philip and Vivian Brass, OAM. Our thanks also go to Scott Keck, who provided his services pro bono, to Joey Borenstein and the lawyers at ABL for the pro bono legal advice they have continually been providing, and also to Karen Stock, Chair, and the members of the building committee for their hard work and dedication. Our advocacy group, as you've seen in the video, the Make a Space for Her campaign continues. We currently have 39 organisations who have taken the Gender Equality Pledge and just recently added another 6 organisations. We have also developed tools and resources to assist these organisations on their journey to achieve gender equality. The slides revealed the various webinars we ran in our community of practice that featured other organisations who have rolled out gender equality in their organisations. For example, Cameron McLeod from the North Melbourne Footy Club spoke passionately about how they rolled out gender equality in the North Melbourne Football Club. We've also designed an enormously helpful digital roadmap guide, which is most useful for those organisations. At the recent AGM of National Council Jewish Women Australia, that is the federal body, it was confirmed that the Make a Space for Her campaign will be rolled out next year across the various sections of National Council by the national body next year. Over the past year, we've ensured timely responses to gender-related issues and events. We've provided media statements and articles on a range of matters: March for Justice, International Women's Day, Choose to Challenge campaign, the extradition of Malka Leifer to Australia, and the passing of the famous Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and many more. The second part of the Make a Space for campaign is to establish an online women's directory. This has been designed as a platform to profile Victorian Jewish women seeking leadership opportunities and public speaking roles. And it'll be those Jewish communal organisations who are committed to increasing the representation of women who'll be able to search this directory. We look forward to launching this in coming months. We've been proud to have made a submission to the Uluru Statement from the Heart and to have formally voiced our support for First Nations voice to Parliament protected by the Constitution. We're also developing our own bespoke acknowledgement of country, which we were hoping to use tonight, but it's not quite ready. This is being developed in consultation with a group of First Nation elders and will soon be announced. We're also working on developing a reconciliation action plan. Our speaker, in fact, for the 2020 Fanny Reading Human Rights Lecture will be Jane Vadivelu, who is the CEO of Children's Ground, an incredible organisation led by Aboriginal families focused on enabling Indigenous children and families to live with dignity and justice and be free from economic poverty. This is part of the advocacy work we do to promote social cohesion and human rights. Our gender research project, which is now reaching a very exciting conclusion. Over the past 18 months, we've been partnering with the ACJC at Monash University, that is the Australian Centre for Jewish Civilization, on a research project to investigate experiences of women and staff in Jewish communal organisations and to discover whether those organisations offer safe, inclusive and equitable workplaces. The project took our Make a Space for Her campaign as its point of departure and sought to gain a deeper understanding of the challenges faced by women working in Jewish communal organisations. It does aim to address the broader issues of gender equity and gender-based discrimination and harassment, and the key findings from the research will be included in a report currently in the final stages. We're looking forward to a launch of this report at an event to be scheduled in October or November, depending on how the restrictions are levelled. Our thanks go to Leanne Vassar, former CEO, and together with our newest board member, Rebecca Forgas, who has been representing National Council Victoria on this project, and also to the work of our fabulous advocacy committee led by Romy Grace in providing feedback and commentary. We've been on a journey for the last year and a half, during which we launched our rebranding of the organisation to create a style that has now permeated throughout the organisation, creating specific brandings for all our programs and events and an entirely refreshed image. The One Voice style guide has seen changes being made all the way through to our programs and communications, and we've trained our staff and revised our materials. The refreshed brand strategy was implemented by us hoping to drive a refresh, perhaps through all the sections of National Council of Jewish Women Australia, but they don't like what we did. So they are now embarking on their own mission for change. We're happy about this and we're loving the difference. There is enough confusion out there between us and the national body. In any event, we've built a strong media presence, raising our profile through our social media postings and participation at community events. You again can see a sample collage of our social media offerings on pages 28 and 29 of our report. Kelly Hartman, now a member of our development committee, formerly a 2020 board observer, developed and helped implement our digital marketing strategy, which changed the way we communicate and engage. She now provides us with a quarterly digital marketing report that analyses the impact and the uptake of our electronic communications and social media offerings. And all up, I can say the impact has been phenomenal. Now, in light of our internal capacity, that is the power from within, most of you will be aware of the change of leadership that occurred last year. The board that I have been working with this year is most impressive. We are a board of 11 high-quality professional women. This is what Minna Fink, one of the powerful women whose shoulders we stand on, was espousing back in the 30s. We also have a permanent board observer in the spirit of gender equality, who is a man and a strong feminist, Justin Greenstein. More than that, the board is a hard-working board. Every member is either on a board committee or chairs it. I'm blessed and so appreciate the support and the confidence I have from our board. And this is my thanks to you, the members of our board. We also participate in the board observership program. And for this year, we have on our board 2 observers from the program, Daniel Lee and Ari Ruttman, who are each working on assigned projects, respectively, board policies and a membership strategy. You'll hear more about this in communications down the line. Our transformation project and our new website. This is the last step of our digital transformation, the move to Salesforce, which is currently being implemented after many months of waiting. I'm looking forward to finally working with accurate data and enjoying system support for managing our events and donor stewardship. The move to Salesforce has tied to it the launch of our new website, which is now live. Please have a look at it and enjoy it. It has been such a long time coming. Here's where I want to thank the remainder of our staff who have been part of this journey of transformation and supported all the things we do. Sivan Presma, admin, Michelle Slatum, accounts, Cheryl Saltzman, volunteers, and our newbie, Prabha Rajadran, for IT systems. Lastly, and certainly not the least important, are financial controls. Much work has been undertaken to firm up the financial policies and procedures and put in place controls to mitigate financial risks. This has been provided with us this has provided us with certainty for budget planning and revenue forecasting, which is critical to our operations. You'll hear more from our treasurer later on. Our organisation is growing. Our programs are expanding for the first time. We have a waiting list of referrals for caring mums. Our JAM project is already receiving applications for next year. And this year we've had the largest cohort yet. Our supporters are still supporting, but we find that funding philanthropy is also changing. This is our biggest challenge. The funding landscape has changed as a result of COVID, and we've seen a shift in the appetite of funders to fund established programs and capacity building. However, looking forward, we've got many things bouncing on the horizon. We've got the launch of the Women's Database. We've got the launch of the Gender Equality Report. And we've got the start of the build of our new home. And the best thing of all, and yet to really be fully announced, we have a new program in development. We've identified an unmet need in a cohort of women, and we're building a program to address this need, which is all about financial fitness. There'll be a lot more information coming down the line on this one. Once again, I want to acknowledge the grand effort displayed by all the board, the wonderful staff, our incredible volunteers. Kol hakavod, we are really carrying on with the legacy left by those powerful women who came before us, and we are still working to make a difference. Thank you to all. That's the end of my report, and I am putting out a call for questions. Are there any questions, Sharon?
There are no questions, but there is a comment from Michelle Kornberg, and I'll quote her. She says, "Yay, Karen Stock, you are the best."
Thank you, Sharon. I now move that the meeting accepts the report of the President as a true and accurate record of the activities of the Association. Leslie Burr has agreed to second, and as we have sufficient votes by ballot to carry this motion is carried. I now hand over to our Treasurer, Leslie Burr, to present the Treasurer's report.
Good evening. It is a great pleasure that I present our Treasurer's report for the financial year ended 31st of March 2021. The start of our financial year coincided with the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite this being one of the most challenging years that our organisation has faced, a number of factors helped us maintain our financial strength. These include support from our generous and committed donors, close monitoring of our budget and a constant examination of our performance, maintaining an existing strategy that kept a focus on our long-term financial health, and reliance on COVID government support of approximately $260,000 in community services and $205,000 in social support trust. In addition, the generosity of Sonia Horowitz-Young of blessed memory allowed us to provide financial assistance to others struggling through the pandemic. An amount of approximately $3,000 was provided to a worthy recipient under the terms of the Sonia Young bequest. Social Support Trust successfully expanded its Caring Mum and DRAM programs this year. Social Support Trust showed a profit of $108,000 compared to about $23,000 last year, and cash reserves in the bank are strong with about $254,000 cash on hand. However, this increase in cash and in profits is mostly attributable to COVID government support grants. Moving on to community services. Community services financial results show a surplus of $124,000. This is down $15,000 from last year. And the reason for this is a reduction in donations, a reduction in rental received from our tenant, as well as a reclassification of web costs, which were previously capitalized and have now been written off as an expense. Expenses in community services have decreased, but as our work is predominantly service orientated, a major expense still remains salaries and wages. Community services has strong cash reserves of approximately 1.7 million, of which 1.57 million of those are reserved for our future building. Moving on to Victoria. Victoria showed a financial loss of about 17,000 this year compared to about 65,000 last year. And the reason for this is unfortunately the inability to hold many of our events because of the COVID pandemic. However, Victoria still has strong cash reserves of $56,000 compared to about $30,000 last year. In line with last year's report, we have once again recognized our volunteers' economic value. We would not be able to do the work we do without the time, energy, and commitment of our volunteers. The effect of this is an increase in revenue of about $117,000 in community services and $317,000 in social support trust. This does not affect the net profit, however, because corresponding expenses are also recognized. We are mindful of the fact that the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic are far from over. These will have a significant impact on the financial statements in the 2022 year. We are constantly exploring opportunities for new funding and are monitoring and curtailing expenditure where possible. I would like to take the opportunity to thank our auditors, Collins & Co, and our honorary accountant, Peter Hirsch. In conclusion, I'd like to acknowledge and express my gratitude to the entire team of staff, volunteers, committee members, and the board for their support, dedication, and hard work. Thank you. I'll now ask if there are any questions. Sharon, has anybody put any questions through?
No questions.
Thank you. Then I will move that the meeting accepts the annual report with any amendments of the Treasurer as a true and accurate record of the financial activities of the Association. This has been seconded by Sally Davis, and we do have sufficient votes by ballot to carry the motion. Therefore, the motion is carried. And I'll now hand back to Helen Lewin. Thank you.
Thanks, Leslie. Well done. Now it's time, I guess we're moving into that part of the meeting where we are giving a number of awards. And the first award will be the President's Award. This year's recipient is a tireless worker, creative, innovative, and a strategic thinker and passionate advocate for our organisation. Since joining the board in 2017, she's educated the board in the benefits of modern marketing and communications, including a rebranding of our logo and a refresh of all our communications and tools, giving us a uniform look and feel. She's developed and implemented with unanimous support of the board a professional style guide, changing the way we express ourselves and style our written and spoken communications, positioning us as a professional and trusted organisation. She's led the marketing working group and overseen development and implementation of our marketing plan, and single-handedly seen an uptick in all our social media and electronic communications. Her impact has been enormous. In 2019, as an adjunct to our IT transformation, she's overseen the complete overhaul and rebuild of our new website. She's worked tirelessly with staff and board members to bring the new website to life. But perhaps her biggest impact was to drive the IT transformation, which hit a number of delays and was well in excess of its expected delivery date. She brought it to completion with rigorous oversight and saw a reduction in costs as compensation for the very many delays. She's been an amazing support to other board members, both on a personal and organisational level, and since becoming Vice President late last year, she's been an amazing support to me. I'm delighted to award the 2021 President's Award to Judy Hacker, Vice President, in appreciation of her exceptional dedication and unwavering commitment to National Council Victoria. Now, I believe Judy's photo is on screen. She looks like she's talking, but she actually isn't. She's received flowers in her certificate today, and she's delighted to have received this award. We now move on to the Sylvia Gelman Award. I'm going to introduce Di Hirsch. This is also going to be presented to you via video. She's a member of National Council Victoria and a previous president. And she's a member of the selection panel for the Sylvia Gilman Award for Outstanding Achievement by a Woman Educator in the area of education in Victoria. Di will announce in the video coming up who that winner is.
It is a great honour for me to present the Sylvia Gelman Award this evening, which gives me the opportunity to pay tribute to Sylvia Gelman, AM, MBE, and to announce this year's award recipient. The Ncjwa Victoria Sylvia Gelman Award was established in 2004 during my term as Victorian President, in honour of Sylvia's remarkable lifelong contribution to education, women's issues and the Jewish community. Since then, it has been awarded annually to recognise and encourage women with outstanding achievements in any area of Jewish education. Sylvia was a role model to countless people, women and men, and indeed she was recognised as a matriarch of the Victorian Jewish community. She was also a wonderful mentor to me personally. Sylvia was senior mistress or headmistress at Mount Scopus Memorial College from 1953 to 1969, when she retired. She then became involved with the National Council of Jewish Women of Australia, firstly as bulletin editor and then as national president from 1973 to 1979. She was made an honorary life member of Ncjwa Victoria and life governor of the national organisation in 1988. In 2011, Sylvia was awarded the General Sir John Monash Award for Outstanding Service by the Jewish Community Council of Victoria the highest possible community tribute. Sylvia passed away in 2018 and is greatly missed by all those who knew her. The Sylvia Gelman Award has been presented to many distinguished women educators over the 17 years until now, and this year is no exception. The criteria for the Sylvia Gelman Award require the nominee to have demonstrated excellence in their contribution to Jewish education and also demonstrated leadership in this area. The winner of the award this year has certainly demonstrated excellence and leadership in Jewish education and mentorship of Jewish women. She has been involved in Jewish education for over 20 years, firstly at Ncjwa and then at Mount Scopus Memorial College, where she has taught Jewish studies subjects to students in years 7 to 10, as well as being head of the year level over the past few years. However, it's her communal involvement and leadership in the modern Orthodox women's community that is particularly outstanding. She's a founding member and vice president of Ncjwa Australia, the Jewish Orthodox Feminist Alliance. Initiated and ran an independent Orthodox women's reading for Simchat Torah for the past 3 years. She mentors and nurtures young female potential leaders for the youth movements and communal leadership positions. She creates resource packs for bat mitzvah families to conduct Torah reading services. In the words of her nominator, she is particularly passionate about women's engagement in all facets of Jewish communal life. She not only leads from the front, but she also empowers and builds the capacity of others to join her on her journey to make the community and school more compassionate, empathetic, learned and engaged. It gives me great pleasure to announce that the 2021 Sylvia Gelman Award goes to Sharona Djokovic.
Thank you so much, Di. It is an honour to be awarded the Sylvia Gelman Award. I'm truly humbled to receive such an award for something that I've lived and breathed from the moment I finished high school and started my career teaching Jewish studies at Mount Scopus in 2000. Sylvia Gelman, Alea Shalom, is an icon at Mount Scopus. And in this vein, I'm truly humbled to stand alongside my mentors and colleagues and receive an award in her name, as part of a long tradition of distinguished women who have received this award before me. I must mention 3 such women and pay tribute to them here. Frances Prince, one of my previous colleagues at Mount Scopus, who helped shape me to become the teacher I am today. In addition, I'm grateful to Sue Hampel, who held my hand through my early days of teaching, constantly guiding me and educating me on what it takes to be a Jewish educator. And lastly, to Amanda Castellan-Starr, a dear colleague and a brilliant Jewish educator who continues to guide me and push me to be the best I can be. I must also thank Mount Scopus, where I've spent the majority of my life as both a student and educator. It is a place that really is my second home. My passion for Jewish education began at Mount Scopus. Educating young Jewish women is my raison d'etre, teaching teenagers that Judaism is theirs to access, theirs to embrace, and theirs to own. Each day I remind myself that I'm grateful that I am a teacher, a career choice that provides meaning and a sense of community, as I am surrounded by the brightest minds who continue to push me to think outside of current boundaries and strive for better. There are so many ways for our youth to get involved, and we need to make space for them to contribute their voices right here, right now. I am humbled to receive this award, but I must give credit to my students and fellow teachers for persevering in their pursuit of excellence despite the hardships we are all enduring during lockdowns and the pandemic. Despite the circumstances, Jewish learning in Melbourne is continuing, and students and educators are doing everything and anything they can to continue to learn and inspire young Jewish students. It is this creativity and commitment to excellence, despite the hardships, that continues to inspire me every day. Shana Tova.
Congratulations to Sharona Djokovic. The next award that we accommodate is the Fanny Reading Scholarship. In 1947, the National Council of Jewish Women of Australia Juniors in Sydney endowed the Fanny Reading Scholarship in Hebrew language to the University of Melbourne. I believe the sum was around £600. The funds have raised so many years ago are held in trust and invested by Melbourne University. I'll now hand over to Dr. Dvir Abramovich, a dear friend of National Council of Victoria, in his capacity as the Director of the Program in Jewish Culture and Society at the University of Melbourne, who will tell you all about the Fanny Reading Scholarship and name the winner and award the gift. Hand over to the video of Dvir, please.
Hi everyone, I wish I could be there in person to present this richly deserved award to Amira Waller, but alas, again this year it's not to be. Still, it's always a thrill to join my friends and the inspiring women and leaders of the National Council of Jewish Women in Victoria. The Fanny Reading Award was established 74 years ago with a £600 endowment, and it is an incredible feat that 7 decades later, this wonderful partnership between the Ncjwa Victoria, the University of Melbourne and the program in Jewish Culture and Society, which I lead, is still going strong. The University of Melbourne is the only university in Victoria teaching Hebrew language and literature, and I am so proud to present the Fanny Reading Award to Amira Waller. I think that if Dr. Reading was alive today, she would be delighted with this year's selection. Amira is one of those students that every lecturer would be happy to rock up to class for. She's one of those special students, and I first met Amira when she did the University of Melbourne Extension Program while a student at Libla Yavne College. When she graduated from school, she joined my class and for 3 straight years attended my classes at the University of Melbourne. And yes, Amira is smart as hell. She's committed, she's inflamed with passion about Hebrew. And yes, she's enamored with the language. She adores Hebrew poetry and literature, and she always added sharp insight to every class discussion. But above all, Amira is a terrific young woman, someone whose largeness of spirit, kindness and generosity is only matched by her big heart and big smile. And on a personal note, this occasion is tinged with little sadness because the very year that Amira won the Fanny Reading Award was the year that Amira graduated from the university. And yet, she will always have a place in my heart as one of the finest students I've had the pleasure of teaching. So I'm excited, I'm honored, I am delighted to say Mazal Tov to Amira, to her beautiful family, and to tell her Kol HaKavod on this immense achievement. I think that this occasion will be engraved in my memory and in my heart for many years to come. And I wish Amira much poetry and literature in her life. And to the incredible women of the National Council of Jewish Women in Victoria, keep up the tremendous work you're doing. We're proud of you, we need you, Toda and Kol HaKavod. I look forward to seeing you next year.
Good evening, everyone. It is an honour to be here tonight, albeit virtually, as the recipient of the Fanny Reading Scholarship for 2021. I particularly want to thank Dr. Dvir Abramovich for nominating me for this award. Upon being notified that I had received the Fanny Reading Scholarship, I was interested to learn a bit more about the life and legacy of Fanny Reading herself. What stood out to me were her accomplishments both in her professional life as a graduate of the Conservatorium of Music at Melbourne University and later graduating from the university as a doctor, and her communal achievements. At a time when few women had the opportunity to enter the medical field and few were given the platform to vocally advocate for Jewish rights, Fanny Reading truly stands out. Her dedication to achieving improvements within the Jewish community culminated in her founding the National Council of Jewish Women of Australia in Sydney in 1929. I am, as I'm sure many here are too, very grateful for her long-lasting contribution to our community and for providing a platform for recognition of girls and women within our community. Like Fanny Reading, I am currently studying at the University of Melbourne, undertaking a Bachelor of Arts with a major in psychology. My connection to the Hebrew faculty at Melbourne Uni began in 2017 when I completed tertiary Hebrew units under Dvir's guidance as part of my VCE. Since then, I have completed many Hebrew units throughout my undergraduate degree. Speaking in Hebrew, connecting with other young Jewish students, learning the poetry of Agnon, Bialik and Rachel, just to name a few, has truly been the highlight of my university experience. The friendly and warm yet intellectually stimulating environment created by Dvir and his classes is unlike anything I have experienced in other subjects throughout my studies. I am truly grateful to the university for enabling me to continue engaging in my Jewish identity and improving my Hebrew skills in a university context, and to Dvir for his ongoing commitment and guidance to his students. Thank you again to everyone at the National Council of Jewish Women for presenting me with this award and for recognising the importance of studying Hebrew and Jewish history and culture at a university level.
Congratulations, Amira. What a wonderful award to win. And I'm so sorry we are just not live. I love it when Dvir does this presentation normally live. It's really joyful. So hopefully looking forward to next year. Now, the next award, the person needs no introduction. It's David Southwick, and he's going to present the Caulfield Volunteer Award. I'll let him do the talking once again on video.
Hi everyone, it's David Southwick here, and we're back at another AGM. Unfortunately, not in person, but online. And I wanted to particularly give a shout out to the National Council of Jewish Women for your tireless work in supporting our community during these really difficult times. Well, tonight I'm here to present the Local Hero Award, and this person needs no introduction. It's Karen Stock. 8 years Karen has been working volunteering for the National Council of Jewish Women. We know all of our other community work, including being a Life Governor of Mount Scopus, also with her work with Unchain My Heart as a volunteer, and also her work with Jewish Care in the Young Leaders Program. But this is all about the work that Karen has done with the National Council, and I'm standing here at what's soon to be the new community centre. Karen is the chair of the building committee. And for those of you who've built a house before and know how hard it is to build a house, imagine building a community centre. I've got a vested interest in this because my office is across the road, and I'm looking forward to, once it's built, coming here and having plenty of coffees and having you come and visit me as well. Karen, thank you for all the tireless work that you've done. I can't think of anyone that has done so much for our community. The passion, the commitment, it's truly outstanding. Mazel tov to you on this award, and thank you everybody. Stay safe, and I look forward to meeting in person again next year.
Fantastic, Karen. Congratulations, Karen. I know she knows about the award, and David can't wait to present it to her in person, and he wants to have a picture in front of the building, the Theodore Herzl Club, which he's so excited about because it's right across the road from his offices, and he's totally excited about presenting this award and was only so sorry he couldn't be here to do it in person. He would have loved to have been, but I said, you can come, but there'll be nobody there. We're doing this all by Zoom. Anyway, we're now up to the part where we deal with our board, new members, retiring members, and all of that sort of stuff. And we'll start off with who is retiring, and this year it's Anne Wallner. Anne joined the board, National Council, in August 2015 and became president in 2017. She was specifically recruited for her skills as a practicing lawyer psychologist and also for her experience as a former president of Mount Scopus College and being involved in many building products. She's passionate about human rights and the rights of women, and in particular Jewish women. Since joining the board in 2015, she's been an active member of the Building Committee, Advocacy Committee, and has spent time on the Finance and Development Committees. She's a proud member of the board. She participated in the International Conference of Jewish Women Conference in Sydney, the national conferences in Canberra and Melbourne, and went to the USA to attend Ncjwa US in Los Angeles and the Washington Institute. Since joining the board, her focus has been the building project, and she's been intrinsically involved in the negotiation of the co-ownership agreement that was entered into with the Theodore Herzl Club earlier this year. In recent years, she's become involved in gender equality and was instrumental in developing the 2 webinars delivered as part of the Gender Equality Community of Practice, led by the Advocacy Committee last year. Although Anne is retiring from the board, I'm pleased to know that she is staying on both the Building and Advocacy Committees. Thank you, Anne, for your service and contribution to the board. Anne has received flowers today, and she is delighted to be remaining. Now I'll hand over to Sally Davis, our secretary, who is the returning officer to conduct the election of board members and office bearers. Thank you, Sally.
Thanks, Ellie. First, I will address the re-election of board members whose current terms have been completed. Under our rules, board members are required to be re-elected every 2 years. Nominations from those whose terms have been completed this year and are standing for re-election have been received from Judy Hacker and Leslie Burr. As no other nominations for these positions have been received, I declare the nominees elected unopposed. Congratulations. Next, I will deal with the election of new board members. With the recent retirement of various members of our board, there are a number of vacancies. We have received 2 nominations for these positions from Romy Grace and Rebecca Forgas. As no other nominations for these vacancies have been received, I declare Romy and Rebecca elected to the board unopposed. Congratulations to you both. Finally, I will deal with the re-election of president and office bearers. Under our rules, office bearers are required to be re-elected each year. The following nominations have been received for re-election to the respective office bearer positions from Helen Lewin as president, Judy Hacker as vice president, Leslie Burr as treasurer, and Sally Davis as secretary. As no other nominations for these positions have been received, I declare the nominees re-elected unopposed. I now hand back to Helen Lewin.
Thank you, Sally, and congratulations to all the new board members and office bearers. I will now read out the bios of our new board members. Romy Grace is a qualified solicitor. She works as legal counsel and most recently investor relations manager for the Max Cap Group and Investment Impact Group. She's passionate about responsible investment. Romy's greatest passion is her family, and she has 2 sons that she's devoted to. She's actively involved in community and industry organisations and is currently on the advisory board of the ACJC. She's also completed Jewish Care's Yesod program and is a graduate of the Social Impact Fellowship from Stand Up Australia. She's completed certificates in corporate governance for directors from both the AICD and the Australian Governance Institute. Romy is now elected to the board, having previously been a co-opted member, filling a casual vacancy. She will continue as chair of the Advocacy Committee, which she joined last year and which I believe she's really enjoying. Now to Rebecca Forgas. Rebecca Forgas is the former director and CEO of Jewish Museum of Australia. She has extensive experience in strategy development, fundraising, and program development. She's currently Associate Professor of Community Engagement and Intercultural Communication at the Australian Centre for Jewish Civilization, the ACJC, at Monash University. Rebecca has strong networks across Jewish community and has a long-standing personal and intellectual interest in feminism and gender issues, particularly in the context of Jewish tradition and Jewish life. Her master's thesis in both women's studies and Jewish studies were on topics related to Judaism and feminism. Rebecca has a deep interest in the urgency and gravity of the climate crisis and is the co-founding member of the board of the Jewish Climate Network. Rebecca will be joining the Development Committee as well as the board. And now we move to Justin Greenstein, our permanent board observer. Justin came to National Council in 2018 through the board observership program. He chose then to complete the observership program with the Australian Jewish funders. But as a true feminist, he expressed a strong desire to support our organisation and rapidly joined the Finance Committee, and not long after that, the Governance Committee. He's also standing as the alternate representative for National Council on the Operating Committee, which is the committee for the joint venture we're doing with Theodore Herzl. He's got a big interest in governing in the governance of that project, so it's very useful having him there as the alternate. Justin works in financial services with a deep focus on risk management in the digital and innovation space. He's brought to our organisation a new risk management approach that's added enormous value to our operations, enabling us to increase the effectiveness of the work we do by reducing risk and improving our controls. Justin is passionate about Jewish life and Jewish tradition and is excited about our mission to empower, advance, promote and support women to achieve their potential and improve their quality of life. He's a graduate in executive management from the London School of Economics, lives in Melbourne and is married with 2 children. Justin is now the co-chair of the Australian Jewish Funders. He graciously accepted the invitation to take a position as a permanent observer on our board until such time as we're able to admit him in accordance with our rules. So that brings us to I'll say the virtual end of this meeting, and really the item of general business. I'll ask Sharon, has there been any questions or comments? Any general business?
No questions or comments at this time.
Okay, so what I wanted first of all to congratulate and say thank you to Sharon Milner for her services, which is indefeatable. She's fantastic. Every year she does this and it's just great. And also to Sivan Presma, who's pretty much single-handedly organised this whole event tonight. She's worked with the producers who've been doing all the slideshows and moving us back and forwards, but she's done all the heavy lifting in this regard, taken care of the communications. You know, she created that entire video, which is outstanding. She's really a treasure, and we thank her for that. And I want to thank everybody that's participated in this meeting. And just remind you again, please look at our website. It is fabulous. It really is fabulous. And it's been a long time coming and we really appreciate it. And don't forget, we have a number of events coming up. The big one, of course, will be the Fanny Reading Human Rights Lecture, which is tied to our annual Giving Day. And that's the lecture where we've got Jane Vadivelu, who's the founding member of Children's Ground. I've heard her speak because she attended an advocacy committee meeting and pretty much hijacked it and spoke for an hour and pretty much delivered what she's going to deliver at Fanny Reading. I hope it'll be different, but she's absolutely compelling and really worth listening to. And I'm hoping maybe by then we can do it in person. But in the meantime, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter, our social media. And I will say this, we normally move to a meeting for community services, which I'm not going to ask you all to attend because the only people that are interested in this meeting or should attend it are our board members. So to everybody else, I want to actually say one thing before we close out tonight, and that is to pass condolences to Eva Beason, who passed away about 2 weeks ago now. She was a staunch supporter of National Council, a quietly spoken but powerful woman, and had enormous influence. As well as that, she has been, our premises are called the Eva Beason Centre, and the new premises that we are moving to will similarly be called the Eva Beason Centre in her memory. We want to pass on condolences and deepest sympathies to Mark Beason, to Naomi, Carol, Debbie and Daniel, and wish them all a long life. She was an outstanding woman, a fantastic philanthropist, and she will be greatly missed. So that really now brings us to the end of this meeting. So thank you all for coming. It's the end of the AGM for 2021, and I'm pleased that it's ended, and look forward to seeing you next year. Thank you.